Hello, Internet. My name is Mike. Welcome to the Ghostlight Social, the weird internet pub where we are talking to creators, people like actors, directors, casting directors, musicians, all while we're locked down in our little bunkers. This is my little bunker. Do you like it? It's a bit colourful because, I'm a cinematographer, so it's going to look good. With me in the bunker tonight, we have Leigh. Say hello, Leigh.
Hello, everyone. It's obviously first episode, slight technical issue, but glad a couple of people have joined us anyway. I think Heather's out there. Hello, Heather. I think Lucy's with us as well. Hello. Anybody else say hello? We don't know what this is. We've no idea. As you can see already, we're 12 minutes late and we're making it up as we go along. But that's all right. That's okay, because we're all friends. Right, and this isn't going to be slick. I'm not a TV presenter. Mike is better at this than me. He's got that YouTube patter. He's done this stuff before. I've just got a pen in my hand.
Guys? That's what everybody says, isn't it? What's up, guys? It's your boy.
What's up, YouTube? That sort of stuff. Right, are we ready to introduce who we've got? Because I want to get on with chatting to them.
Yeah, so we've got two guests tonight. We've got two actors. We've got Emily Golding and Stephen Donald, who have kindly given up their evening to join us live in the bunker. So let's, without further ado, introduce. Guys, how's it going?
Hello. Good to see you. Looks great. Looks like a pop video.
I'm having a great time.
I'll tell you what, it's a terrible pop band, isn't it? Really.
I think it's great. I don't know what you're talking about.
Apparently, Mike, I'm being told that there's a little bit of an echo going on. I don't know whether that's just for Lucy. Lucy's got a bit of an echo. So while I'm chatting to them, just have a look at that technical aspect, if you wouldn't mind. Look, shall we, while you mess about with the sound, bringing that down a little bit, Mike, because I'm going to pretend that I know what I'm talking about. Could we alter the audio levels, Michael, please? Emma.
Hi. I don't know where I'm supposed to be looking. Do I look at the camera?
Yeah, it's complicated, isn't it?
Yeah. Anyway.
It's complicated. Yeah.
Am I at the moment? Who knows?
That is a very good question and a philosophical question. Are any of us actors if we're not acting? Steve, have a think about that. I'm going to ask you that question in a moment.
Oh,
God. Emma, you were due to be filming on Corrie, weren't you, at the moment?
Emmerdale yesterday.
Emmerdale.
Yeah.
Which of course is gone. So what?
Sadly.
Just tell us about that. What's happening with that? Do you know?
Well, I thought I was still going to be filming. I think I got my contract through back end of last week, and then they just sort of sent another email going, "We're really sorry. We don't think it's a good idea," which was heartbreaking and yet very sensible. So, yeah, it's postponed until who knows when. So, yeah, I was really sad because I was really looking forward to it, but at the same time, I don't think it's a good idea to be like going and filming. And I mean, I went for a walk today and I crossed the street every time I saw somebody. It was like it's like road rage.
It's crackers, isn't it? It's crackers. Was that your sort of semi-regular, reoccurring, whatever you call it, character? Was it different?
No, it's the nurse. The nurse, which I was convinced that I had a name, and then I'm sure that I now don't have a name. So I'm nurse 8,800 and something, depending on the episode number.
But haven't you done this about 5,000 times now, and they still haven't given you a name?
No, this will be my 7th time. So I was on. I don't know if I imagined this, but I was on with Joe Gill once. And
by the way, nice segue, because Joe's joining us on Monday, 8:00. We're going to try and sort this sound out before then. But Joe Gill, it's joining us on Monday.
I was on with Joe, and I had a name. I was called Nurse Judy. And I'm convinced that in the script he said my name. And then when I watched the episode back, he went, "Hi."
with no name.
But I know he said it. And I don't know how they'd done it, but they completely edited it out. And there was no cut. It's not like it went hi and then cut to something else. The just name had disappeared. And I was like, oh. It's gone. It's totally gone.
Magic.
So, yeah, magic. The magic of
Hang
Canada.
on. So do you think there's some kind of conspiracy that they're not giving you a name? Is
No.
that what you're saying? That they've deliberately said, you know that Emma Lee Golding, forget that. We're
I
not
think that
giving her
they
it.
looked at me and went, "Oh, she doesn't look like a Judy. We'll have to get rid of it."
I don't know. I think you could get away with the Judy.
Well, they didn't think so, so it's gone. But no, it's nurse practical.
Okay.
Which is not very practical in this situation because I have actually no medical experience.
Which is why you're an actor. Because
Yes.
you can pretend to have medical experience.
Yes. Some would say not very well, but yeah.
Something reminded me today when I don't know what it was. Who the famous person is who I always think of subconsciously when I'm with Leigh, and it's Ricky Gervais, but just
Brilliant.
Oh.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I see that.
I was
like, yeah.
I was once in a cafe on Market Street in Manchester, and it was raining, and I had a Mac on, I had my hood up, and I had a backpack on, and I'm saying a cafe, it was Costa. I was in Costa, and I got to the till, and the girl behind the till, because I had my hood up and a backpack on, and she sort of looked at me and sort of like, and I looked at her back, and she went, "It's you, isn't it?" and I sort of thought, don't know about this, and she went, "Who do you think she thought I was?"
John Peel.
I wish. Although he's dead, so I'm glad I'm not dead.
Oh yeah.
I would say Jimmy Nesbitt.
Brilliant.
Is that his name, Jimmy Nesbitt?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So she went, "It's you, isn't it?" And I went, "What do you mean?" And she went, "Carl Pilkington."
Oh my God, yes.
So what do you think my answer was? Yeah, it was.
Would you like an autograph?
Yes, it is. And she gave me the coffee for free.
Brilliant.
Got my coffee, walked out. Yeah. So if ever you get sort of, "Oh, are you so-and-so? You just say yeah. Just say yeah. What was the name of the last character you played?
Yasmin in a play at Harrogate Theatre. Shout out Rachel Halliwell if she's watching. I don't know if she is.
Hi,
Yeah, it was her play called Connection at Harrogate Theatre. It was really good. It was really good fun. The cast were amazing and lovely, and I had a blast. It was nice to be in a theatre as well, which doesn't always happen. So yeah, it was really cool. Made lots of nice friends.
Good. And Harrogate Theatre have a big shout out to Harrogate Theatre. Actually,
yes, definitely.
They've done quite a lot over the last sort of 12 months, if not more. I don't know. For sort of local artists and things. So big thumbs up for Harrogate Theatre.
Yeah.
Support your local theatre, especially at this time.
Definitely.
Because it's the local regional theatres that are going to be hit hardest.
I have to say, despite these technical difficulties, which is inevitable, I do think it's great what you guys are doing, because obviously we are in this weird and uncharted water, and I do think there's like a collective anxiety going on, and I think people who have not necessarily been used to being on their own are suddenly faced with this isolation, and for some I think that's quite a scary prospect. I think being actors, we're used to uncertainty, frankly, and I think a lot of people necessarily aren't, so maybe we're a bit more well equipped to deal with that to some degree. So I think what we're seeing amongst all these creative communities is really quite heartening, because you've got writers, you've got actors, directors, casting directors. They've all lost jobs. They're all facing that uncertainty financially and otherwise, but everyone's come together. So I think the positivity that's coming out of this bleak scenario is really very encouraging. And there are loads of platforms online which are enabling creatives to continue to create and have a voice, and that's what you guys are doing. So, as I say, despite the teething issues, it's still great. It's good to have a platform, so you're making a difference, you know.
Thanks, Steve. Thank you. I'm going to come back to something that you just said in a minute. But Yeah, look, I think it's hard, isn't it? And we just want to have a chat. And if we can make this thing work, so we can just have a chat and sort of whether it's entertaining or not, I don't know. Whether anybody's interested, who cares? But yeah, it is interesting. Two things that you've just said. One thing is that there are loads of some parts of the industry have sort of they've mobilized and started doing stuff. There is a little voice in my mind that says, do you want to do another monologue, Steve? There's a lot of monologue competitions, isn't there?
There are, but I think actors without a platform, if you're able to write, if you're able to perform, why not? I think it's giving people a good platform. And I think, it's just a collective collaboration.
Yeah.
I mean, there's going to be one or two out there possibly that it's aimed at promotion or whatever, but I think generally speaking, it's just often to cheer people up. It depends on the topic, I suppose, as well. There's a lot of humour going out at the moment. I think that's really quite important at this point.
I read something on Twitter earlier on from somebody who said, I've got a big announcement to make at 8:00. And when 8:00 came along, they went, I am not going live on YouTube tonight. Suggesting that everybody was going live on YouTube. In fact, in many respects, I'm amazed that YouTube and the Skype and all the streaming platforms are even working now. But do you know what? Thank God they are, because we wouldn't be able to talk like we are doing, and I think that's great. Now,
that's why this is all a little bit technical difficulties and stuff, in it. It's because everybody's doing it. It's nothing to do with me or my internet connection whatsoever.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Obviously.
You keep telling us that, and we'll certainly keep believing it. However, there is a good point, and I'm going to come back to you in a moment, Steve. And then I'm going to leave Mike to it for a little while because I need to go get another drink. But there are a lot of things that, as actors, I think, especially actors, but I'm sure there are other things in sort of the music industry and stuff where we're constantly sort of shelling money out for headshots, for Spotlight, for Equity. Oh, big shout to Spotlight, by the way, because to be fair to them, they have suspended subscriptions, or they have extended. If you pay yearly like I do, they've extended it for 3 months. So big shout to them. Equity as well today. I had a conversation with somebody, and they said that although they haven't suspended sub fees to Equity, if you are having trouble paying them, just bob them an email and they'll help you out with that as well. So fair play to Equity. But there are lots of things that we have to pay for, and often these things you can just find for free on the internet, and it really sort of it winds me up. And it's almost like people are sort of going, oh, in order to stay connected, we have to sort of pay for things. We have to pay each other, or we have to do something. When actually, one of the really good things that's come out of this whole thing, as you started to say, Steve, I think, was that people have realised we can just chat. And people chat, and they'll chat for free. They're not asking for anything. And I think that's really important. Emma said it looked like you had a nice tan. So have you been out in the garden?
Well, oddly enough, I have, because usually I would go to the gym, but obviously with that being closed, I decided to go and have a little workout in the garden, and I put some tunes on shuffle, and I was just making up a routine, and the Scissor Sisters came on, Take Your Mama Out, and I started galloping. So galloping to the Scissor Sisters, and
right.
I noticed there was some neighbours looking out the window. What is he doing? So galloping is quite good for getting the old endorphins going. Actually,
oh, good.
Scissor Sisters.
Now the other thing I wanted to ask you was what was the last character you played, and what was the name of the last character?
The name of the last character was actually called The Director, and it was in a play called Catastrophe, Samuel Beckett play, and it was part of a trilogy which was done by Angel Theatre Company, and it was put on at the Brockley Jack Theatre. John Patterson runs the Angel Theatre Company, and he put on a Beckett trio. We had a sellout show in Brockley for 2 weeks, which was great, and the timing, fortunate, I suppose, for us, because just after that was obviously, when everything was shut. So yeah, that was quite a successful run, actually. It's great theatre company, name check there.
And tell us a little bit about this character, because I thought he was quite fascinating.
Well, I don't know if you're familiar with that play, Catastrophe. It's a very short play. There was a version of it where I think it was Harold Pinter played the director. But essentially what you've got is it opens with a live statue, if you like. So there's a guy standing on a plinth, and then we see a lady, an assistant director in a lab coat taking notes. And the director is barking orders at this assistant to move his hands in certain ways or whatever until he's pleased with how this particular life statue looks. And Beckett does actually stipulate in the script that this particular character wears a fur coat. So I was, in fact, wearing a fur coat, which was actually owned by John, the director, and I got really quite attached to it. So I wanted to keep hold of it.
I can see you in a fur coat. I think that would, that's the...
It wasn't real fur, incidentally, just to...
Of course. Yeah, of course not. Of course.
I didn't think I could rock the fair, but apparently it worked. So, but it was great, actually. Beckett is not necessarily everybody's cup of tea. It's quite absurdist, as you know. But it was great. It was a really good trilogy or trio.
Excellent.
So stuff.
And I would like, if you wouldn't mind, tell us briefly about Brookie. Tell us about Brookie.
Gosh, Brookie. Do you know what? That almost seems like a different person. Well, obviously, we're talking mid-90s when I was doing that. I'd actually auditioned for it, and then I didn't actually consider that I'd get it. And I went off to visit a friend of mine in Brazil, of all places. And then I got a call from my agent at the time saying...
Whoa, hang on a minute. You went to Brazil to see a friend of yours?
Yeah, my mate was living out in Brazil.
Okay.
And yeah, so I went to Brazil, and I got there. I was there for a few days, and I got a call. Can you come back to England? Because you've got a recall. I said, well, how certain is it? I said, no, well, it's just almost a formality. They just want another meeting, really. So I travelled through several time zones, ended up, I think, for about 12 hours at JFK. And I remember at the time, I had like a little cassette, the little Walkman. I had a cassette player, and the only thing that was on it was REM. I was listening to REM while it was snowing outside in New York. And anyway, yeah, I got back to London, got on a train, got off at Lime Street, got a bus to Chilwell, and did the second audition, and yeah, fortunately got the gig. And it was great because at the time it was all shot on one camera, single, so it was really good sort of technique and a learning curve for everything to do with film or whatever. And as we know, it was a breeding ground for a lot of great talent. So it's amazing directors, writers, actors that have all come out of that. And it was a great platform. And I think at the time, they were dealing with very, very gritty and current storylines. And it was cutting edge stuff. I think, we don't necessarily remember that particularly now, or people that weren't of that generation maybe not be aware of it, but it was cutting edge stuff. But just from a sort of career point of view, it was obviously great for me to get that gig. So I stayed in that for a couple of years, and of course met Lewis there, who I understand that you may well be bringing on at some point.
Oh, it's almost like we're beautifully segueing into future episodes. Yes, Louis Emmerich is coming along for a chat as well, and yeah, of course. So you were on at the same. You were in Brookie at the same time as Lewis.
I was. Lewis was obviously in it a lot longer than I was, but yeah, we were in it at the same time. I think we had a scene with Lewis and Mickey Stark at one point where I was trying to steal Sinbad's window cleaning round.
As
And
you do.
yeah, I remember Mickey showing me how to use a chamois leather. So off camera, I think Lewis and myself were whipping each other with a chamois.
Okay, something that's been repeated every year since.
Well, you know, we did do the full Monty tour. The
True. Yeah,
the
songs.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, right. Okay, so I've got. I realise we're. What time is it? Quarter to 9. I've got a couple of questions for both of you. So we'll start with you, Emma, first. Can I have? Will you give me a song for our isolation playlist?
Ooh. Okay. Can I give you? I'm going to give you one of my favourite bands, Haim.
Yeah.
And Forever.
Forever.
Yeah.
I'm going to pretend that I know exactly what song you're talking about.
Well, it was either that or Rick Astley, Together Forever. So
just with the word forever in, basically.
Oh yeah, I didn't even notice that, but yeah, that. Yeah.
Okay. All right, Steve.
Well, the theme of isolation, I would say, "Don't Stand So Close to Me" by the Police.
Nice.
Brilliant.
Or maybe "On My Own" by Patti LaBelle and
No,
Michael McDonald.
whoa! You can't be taking all the isolation songs up. Don't Stand So Close to Me is the one that we're having. Excellent. Go on.
I've got another one. Spice Girls.
No.
Who do you think you are? But only because it's a good dancing around the liver today.
Okay. Well, while I write that down, tell me more about that.
Well, I've just gone a bit stir crazy today, so I've just been going a bit bonkers around the living room.
Excellent.
And I just had my partner John just staring at me like I've lost the plot, but I was quite enjoying myself. So
I think that's totally fair enough. Totally fair.
Although this morning, you know, Steve, you were saying you were galloping in your garden. Yeah. So I did Joe Wicks's body coach workout today.
Oh, yeah.
And not having any children of my own, I was bunny hopping across the living room.
Do you know what's quite funny about that is and this must have been going on in every household this morning. As soon as we started jumping around, my 14-year-old son, he went, oh, if somebody was looking through the window now and watching us do this, oh, how embarrassing is this?
I think everybody was doing it.
Everyone's doing it, isn't they? Absolutely.
Yeah. A million people nearly doing it.
It's really hard. It was so hard.
Do you know what? I genuinely, I'm like, I'm aching like from head to foot. And I didn't want to tell the kids this morning, but I was like, while you're doing this bit, I'm going to make your breakfast. It was only because I just didn't want to do it anymore. It's really hard.
So hard. I don't remember PE being that hard.
No.
Ever.
Okay, good. So I've changed yours, Emma, to "Who do you think you are?"
All right. Okay. Thank you.
All right. So let's have from both of you, please, something to watch, a box set.
Oh, I just finished watching. So I've just finished watching Giri Hadji, which was amazing
On the BBC, on the iPlayer.
On iPlayer, it was so good, so good. But my ultimate at the moment is Schitt's Creek.
Really?
I'm literally rewatching it because I love it that much.
Fair enough.
Waiting for series 6 to come on, I think it is.
Fair enough. Steve?
I'm new to Netflix. I've just recently signed up, and I'm looking for recommendations, actually. But one of the things I watched recently was The Stranger by Harlan Coben. I'd actually read the book, I think, a while ago, so I was curious about it. But yeah, I thought that was really good. So that was my sort of last binge watch. But yeah, if you've got any recommendations, I'd be interested to hear.
Brilliant. Okay. So a question to you, Steve, is what I can't remember. This is down somewhere. What's the actual? Oh, what's the most coronavirus thing that you've done since this whole thing started?
Most coronavirus thing I think it was possibly not getting too near my neighbour's fence while I was galloping.
When I went to the shop today, I did two things. First of all, like you were saying, we had to queue to get in. So we were sort of all, but the guy behind me, right, was getting really close, and it was sort of like, and I'm sort of looking over my shoulder as if to say, "Back off, man, back off." Yeah. Right? There was that thing, and then when I got in, I said to the woman in the Asda. I'm northern, so it's obviously at the Asda. So I went in to the Asda and I said, because I was thinking to myself, they might only let me have one loaf of bread. I've got a family, one loaf of bread and one milk. And so I thought, well, if I get one of those, those things where you scan as you're going round, so you don't have to go to the check. I thought they won't check my bag. Anyway, so I'm putting everything in the thing, and I got to the checkout, and she went, "How many milk have you got?" And I said, 2. All right. She said, how much bread have you got? I said, 2. And she said, "Oh, that's all right." So it was fine. It was fine. But I think that's the most coronavirus thing I've done. Also trying to cheat the supermarkets.
I have literally disinfected the whole flat today. Like I've the door handles, the cupboard handles, the toilet. I've done everything. Apart from the floor, which someone pointed out to me, and I was like, I'm not doing the floor. No one's licked it. So I'm not doing that. Yeah, I went a bit crazy with the flat today, with the bleach. So it's definitely clean.
But it's a good stink. I also discovered, well, actually before the coronavirus, but it's wicked now, that the Dettol antiseptic, is it antiseptic? I don't know what like a spray thing. So rather than what's that?
My most coronavirus thing was this would have been Saturday. A post went up on Facebook from our local Toby Carvery saying we need to sell all our stock. Come and get it. So I jumped in the car and was the first person at an empty Toby Carvery being given the biggest joint of beef I've ever seen in my life, which cost me 20 quid. It was like some sort of Sunday dinner Argos, because you go and there was a little counter and there was somebody that stood there and they took my order, they disappeared into the back and the counter with a trolley went, there you go. It was like Argos but for like roast beef. 2 litres of cream. And then for 4 days, everything we ate had cream in it. I was drinking creamy coffees. I was like making scrambled egg with cream. We did bread and butter pudding with a Christmas panettone. All sorts of stuff. And I was amazed that I wasn't like a millionth in line, that I was first. Because I thought everybody is just going to go and... Can you imagine them big turkeys? But I was a little bit disappointed though, because Miller and Carter did the same thing the day after, and I'm like, I spent 35 quid at Toby. I can't be going for a Chateaubriand at 16 quid.
Thanks for that contribution. It was worth waiting for, that's what I would say. So a couple of Netflix recommendations for you, Steve, from Ben, which is Call My Agent.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, thanks, Ben.
The French comedy drama. I don't know French. What's that in French? Is that 10%? What's 10%.
that? 10%.
That's 10%.
Yeah, like the.
Oh, I see. So it's the same thing, is it?
Yeah, same thing. It's amazing. It is it's subtitled, but it's hilarious.
Read and watch.
Yeah, you can do that though. You'll be fine.
I can do that. Since you've been inside and you haven't gone out other than just for a little bit of exercise, how many units of alcohol have you had?
Well, oddly enough, I know I tweeted about this, but I don't know if you can see that. I'm on the real ale.
Proper job.
And, well, there you go. I mean, everyone always tells us that we should get one, shouldn't we? So that's what I'm doing. I've got a proper job. Yeah, so in terms of units, probably too much. I've been quaffing wine, but I'm off the wine at the moment in favour of the real ale.
Okay, all right. Excellent.
I don't know, how much is in a unit? How much is a unit? I don't know. A lot.
I want
But
one of
I'm
them.
exercising.
Oh, what is it?
That was my son. I just texted him to get me another drink. So just very quickly, Steve, why are you off the wine?
Tonight, I mean, because I had some the other night. I just fancied a change.
So what you said is you're hungover.
Not particularly. No, to be fair, it's balanced because I am galloping, as I say. So
Oh yes, that's
as
true.
long as I can gallop in my garden, I feel like I've earned the right to just have a cheeky tipple in the evening.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Jennifer said that she was the same as you, Emma, today, putting disinfectant everywhere. And she also lives across the road from a supermarket and watched people. Watching too many people. Just watching them go in and out of the supermarket. Like the
time.
and what they're bringing in and out, like the coronavirus police. Fair play, Jenny. You're really good with your alcohol, aren't you, Emma? What have you?
I don't really drink that much. But if you wanted to ask me about how much tea I've drunk since I've been in isolation, well, this is my average size mug.
There's nothing to compare that to, though, because you're really tiny. So
look at the size of my head.
It's a big mug.
It's a big mug, and I'm probably getting through about 10 of these a day. So a lot of tea. Yeah.
Just getting slightly serious for a moment. What do you think the industry is going to look like off the back of this?
A lot healthier. I think, as I was saying before, I think that all the creative community has had to come together, and they've really collaborated. As I say, that everyone from writers, directors, actors, performers, singers, whatever it is, everyone's come together, and I think it's almost like all this isolation has brought everybody together. So through that distance, we're together, and I think there's a lot of creative stuff happening online. Some of it may be a bit hit and miss. It doesn't matter. Some of it's experimental. It's fine. So I think it's going to be in a really healthy place, actually, as is society as a whole, hopefully. Because I think as long as people adhere to these actual restrictions that we have at the moment, so yes, stop going out, stop going on the tube. There's still ridiculous, amounts of people from what we can see. So as long as people adhere to that, I think we will probably get to the end of this year and look back and go, do you remember when we were all indoors for ages? Do you remember that? And we'll be chatting about it in those terms. And we'll have stories to tell. But I think the creative industry is going to be a lot stronger and a lot more collaborative. And yeah, I just think it'll be in a very healthy place. It's already starting to be healthy in extremely difficult times. So yeah, I'm encouraged by it, and I think it's positive.
I was. I think you're right, and I hope you're right. I was on. It started off by saying loads of people charging for stuff, and like casting directors workshops and stuff that we always sort of have to pay for as actors, and blah 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 blah. And somebody had tweeted, and I can't remember what it's called now. There was a casting director who was doing something on an audition website, a free.
We audition.com.
We audition. That's it. Of course, the trouble, and I thought, oh well, I'll just join it and see what it is. I'd know if she'd have picked me, I would have sort of gone, because I don't know what you're supposed to do at that point. But when I looked down the list of people that were there, it was there were like thousands of people that had logged on and were just waiting. And it sort of makes you, it reminds you, A, that there's loads of us out there in exactly the same boat.
Yeah.
And B, that it all just feels a bit desperate at times, doesn't it? And we all fall into that. Yeah. And I just wish there was a way of it not being like that. I know it will be, and to some degree, there's nothing wrong with that. But it just, you know what I mean? That sort of that desperation that we get to. I don't know, Emma.
I think. Well, I mean, I did try and get onto one of those spotlight one-to-ones, and honestly it was like trying to get a Glastonbury ticket. I was on it, a good 5 minutes before I clicked and it all went, so there was no chance of even getting a one-to-one. But I don't know, I'm chatting with a lot of people who are sort of taking this time more to just be happy with themselves and maybe not do something creative. And actually, I'm quite enjoying that. Not that there's anything wrong with doing creative things if that's what you want to do, but I'm quite enjoying not having to stress about being an actor at the moment. I'm finding it quite freeing, and I'm doing my Spanish, which I haven't done in ages. I'm doing loads of stuff, and I'm waking up in the morning, and I'm like, oh, I'm finding things to do, and I'm just not worried about acting, and it's really nice. So I don't know. I'm hoping to take that mentality back into the industry when we are eventually allowed out of the house, and I'm kind of hoping I just won't take it not take it seriously, but not stress about things as much, because, like you say, there's thousands and thousands and thousands of actors, and I just don't want to get into that queue with everybody.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it, and I'm quite happy not doing it and chilling out. I want to chill out mentally as well.
It's like we're being forced to go back to a basic lifestyle, which I think is great, because people are chatting again, and faced with yourself or whatever, then you have to confront what's real, what isn't.
I find that frightening, Steve. I don't want to be confronted with what I am.
Yeah. That's a whole other topic, isn't it? But no, the point is that it's brought people together in a very sort of basic way. It's going back to what it should be about in many ways before everything just got crazy. So I think there's a lot of positivity to come out of it, frankly.
Yeah. I hope so.
Yeah.
And to be fair, if nothing else, if it means that you're going to continue to create funny little songs and put them out on Twitter, then long may it continue, as far as I'm concerned. Because I think Mike has got one of your songs lined up for us to finish with.
Yeah.
Which was covered by somebody in, was it Toronto or Canada or something somewhere?
Oh, I've got a friend out in Sweden, and they sent me a video of them singing out there and played a little bit of piano as well. So yeah, it's gone a bit crazy.
Wow.
Last question, because I'm aware we've been on for nearly an hour, and I could just sit here and get drunk and talk all night, but I'm not going to do that. Did you have a holiday booked, and have you had to cancel it? Steve?
I had a little mini break booked to Portugal. I was due to go out tomorrow, in fact,
Oh, no.
for a weekend to Porto. That's been cancelled. So yeah, but in the whole scheme of things, that doesn't matter.
Yeah. Emma?
We were gonna book, but we had not got round to it. So in a way, it's lucky, but I'm also really sad. Although it's March and it's hot outside.
Really
so I'm
hot.
thinking we're either going to be really unlucky and get a really hot summer and we all have to be inside, which would be just the cherry out, and it'll be great. So that's what I'm hoping for. Because normally it's snowing in March. And
yeah.
it's not,
often it's often snowing. My birthday's in February, and it's often snowing on my birthday.
Well, I just turned 30 2 weeks ago, and it normally snows on my birthday. Also managed to get that one just in time, because it's my friend's 30th today, and so we've all been FaceTiming because, yeah. Anyway, c'est la vie.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. Happy birthday.
Thanks.
My final question to you is, to you, Emma, first. How many sitcoms have you written?
None.
You haven't written any sitcoms since we've been isolated?
No, but I can say more Spanish sentences. So I feel like that is way more useful.
Fair enough. Stephen, how many sitcoms have you been isolated?
Oh gosh, I've lost count. Now, I've written a few sketches, Not a sitcom. Maybe it'll become a sitcom. I don't know. A few sketches.
Of course it will. There'll be more sitcoms sent to the BBC than ever before.
This community that we're in, this creative community, the wider creative community, seems to be doing a lot of nice things with each other. And it's great to see. And one of the things that I really enjoyed in the first couple of days was I have a huge admiration for Paloma Faith. She's one of my kind of heroines, my idols. And she would doing just every night, just on Instagram Live, her singing. She'd get some of her backing band on the other, and they would call in together, and one dude would play the piano and somebody else would do backing singing and stuff. It was great, and it's that kind of stuff which you don't normally get because everybody's too busy, because you've got an album to promote, or you've got the second series of your hit show to promote. So it's really nice to get that going on. And so yeah, weirdly, I'm quite enjoying this. But as somebody who's had crippling social anxiety for so long, I feel like I've been training for this my entire life, to sit at home and watch TV and all those kind of things. So yeah.
So thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Hopefully you'll be back, that we haven't scared you off. Tell your friends. We'll be back on Monday, and even if nobody turns up, we'll just talk shit with some other people.
Yeah. Don't forget, if you wouldn't mind, to like and subscribe. Thanks very much. Everybody wave goodbye.
Bye. Bye.
Brady Bunch. And we'll see you live 8 o'clock Monday on YouTube. Adios from the bunker.